Rogers TV Durham would like to acknowledge that we are on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation of the Mississauga Nation. May we respectfully honor the knowledge and understanding of the Indigenous stewards of these ancestral lands and ensure that the voices of the First Peoples are represented in our collections, programs, and services.
The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Politics. I'm Debra Hutchison. Our guest this week is Kawartha Lakes Mayor Doug Elmslie. Good to see you again. It's been a while.
It's good to see you. Yes. I hope you had a good summer.
I did, and I know Kawartha Lakes had a good summer. Lots to talk about, so let's just dive in. I know you wanted to discuss provincial housing targets, how you're preparing, and how your targets compare to where you were trending. So let's first talk about the provincial housing targets. What are they? Are they unrealistic? And how are you preparing?
I think that speaking about the targets for Kawartha Lakes, we've been asked to build 7,500 new units by 2031. Our own target, or the target that the province had previously given us and we had agreed to, was 7,000 over, sorry, our target's 6,500, not, we had previously agreed to 7,000 over 10 years. So they're not that dissimilar in that we have 8 years to achieve 6,500, where previously we had 10 years to achieve 7,000. I think it's entirely doable, and we're going to get a report September 26th to council from staff, which will tell us how we will achieve that.
In talking to some other mayors and other municipalities, they say that they have approved, so many builds, but what is holding them up is totally out of their control. And that would be, a builder's inability to find labor or material. Are you finding the same thing?
Well, right now, if you look at what's happening in Lindsay, just Lindsay alone, both Tribute and Craft are building where we anticipated they would when we approved the Northwest Trunk several years ago. And those builds will total almost 5,000 houses, and they're in the process now. Craft has been building for some time, and Tribute just broke ground. In addition to that, on the east side of Lindsay, there are minister's zoning orders for an additional 10,000 units. And those folks, one of the builders has already started, and the other one just got approval at the Planning Advisory Committee on Wednesday to start on some townhomes in that area. So that'll be going forward. And that's just talking about Lindsay. That's not including all the rest of Kawartha Lakes, such as Bobcaygeon, Fenland Falls, Woodville, Omimi, and some of our even smaller hamlets where building will take place. So I'm quite confident that we'll be able to do it. And the builders who are working in our area have not indicated to any of us that they will have a problem with either materials or with labor.
Yeah, I know it was a real problem during closer to the COVID pandemic. So things out your way have really, I guess, evened out, turned around, you know?
Yes, it is, the amount of building is incredible. Lindsay, I believe I said this previously, Lindsay itself is slated to double in size in the next 10 to 15 years.
Wow, that is incredible. And did you find during the pandemic, though, when a lot of people were, I guess, moving out of the bigger centers and, you know, looking for a place that was a little more, they could really have a little more breathing room, so to speak, that
Right.
Kawartha Lakes was on their radar? Has that really been a bonus for you?
Absolutely, it was. And of course, it created somewhat of a housing bubble in terms of price and also in availability of existing homes. And we're still, to some extent, having a problem with the number of homes that are available. But I know recently that things seem to be loosening up, and I don't know if that's as a result of inflation and interest rates or whether this has just run its course.
The homes that are being built, would you consider them affordable? There's been a lot of talk about the provincial government and its I guess attempts to increase affordable housing. That a lot of the housing that's being built, you know, what is affordable? What is affordable to one is not affordable to the other.
You're exactly right. I would say that some of the homes being built would fall into the attainable category rather than the affordable category. There would be things like townhomes and I'm sure some condominiums that would be attainable for some people. Affordable housing, we have always used the benchmark of income as to what is affordable housing, and it is based on 1/3 of your income being what you pay for rent or ownership of a property. And I think that what's being built probably doesn't fit into that category for a great number of people. Certainly the people at the lower end of the income spectrum who would be looking for affordable housing. I think we have to look elsewhere and through the province and the federal government in order to find how we can build affordable housing using our current social service agencies.
All right, let's move along now to strong mayor powers. I know there was a recent discussion at council. Your thoughts on it, and do you feel it will have any impact on your housing pledge?
No, I don't think so. I think that, as I said, the 6,500 homes in 8 years or the 7,000 in 10 years aren't appreciably different. And I don't see that I would need to use strong mayor powers in order to achieve that. I have had a discussion with our council, and at the September 26th council meeting, we will be bringing forward a report showing how we're going to achieve those 6,500 homes. And I will be asking council to approve going ahead and writing the letter so that we are awarded strong mayor powers. And this is so we can get the infrastructure money that is tied to it, the 1.2 billion in funding that is attached to that housing target, because we certainly need the money to help us with infrastructure. As far as using the powers, I don't foresee a time when I would need to do that. While we do have our differences on council from time to time, when we're talking about important issues, council comes together and is in has generally been cooperative and working towards the best interests of the municipality, the province, the country, and our residents in order to do the proper thing. I'll point to our last budget, which was passed unanimously. And I don't see any reason why that would change. I have every confidence in our council that they understand why we need to do this.
Okay, let's move on to your paramedic program. You and I have spoken about this before. I love it. You've also had 2 recent funding announcements. Let's talk about that and an update on the program.
Sure. You're talking about the paramedics?
Yeah.
Yes. We had a report from our paramedics chief and some consultants on where we're going with paramedics and how it's unusually busy and the pressures that they are feeling. The growth of call volumes is up significantly over last year, and we don't see that that's going to abate. And one of the big problems that comes with that is offload at hospitals. When the ambulance and the patient and the paramedics get to the hospital, oftentimes they have to wait to be seen by hospital staff. We received $195,000, which will allow us to hire a nurse who will be assigned as a dedicated offload nurse. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that if the hospital was in a desperate situation that nurse wouldn't be assigned to help out. But I think under normal circumstances, it will do a lot to reduce the offload problem. And talking to our paramedic chief, she agrees. She thinks it's a wonderful program and is really going to be beneficial to us at the Ross Memorial Hospital. The other funding was the funding to continue our community paramedic program. And this is a very important program. And it's not just important for the city of Kawartha Lakes. It's important for healthcare generally. It's a way for us to look after our citizens, but it's also a way to ensure that they don't have to be readmitted to a hospital. The essence of the program is that we have, I believe we have 2, and it's to go to 4 paramedics dedicated to looking in on seniors and others who have been released from hospital, but they go home and there's no one there. And they may not have access to their medication. They may not have access to groceries or other necessities. So our paramedics go to those folks and make sure they have what they need and they make sure they have their medication. That means that they don't get sick again and have to be readmitted to hospital. And my understanding is that a readmission to hospital for a patient will cost the healthcare system between $6,000 and $8,000 per patient. So by keeping them in their home and making sure they're healthy, that money is not being expended by the healthcare system, and it allows us to get money to continue this program because it's paying for itself.
Yeah, I'm going to hold you there. We're going to take a quick break. More of our conversation with Kawartha Lakes Mayor Doug Elmslie after this. Don't go away.
On City TV.
We find missing people who have slipped through the cracks and we bring them home.
We need to talk about how you figured out this location before us cops.
We all have our secrets. You kidnapped a child.
And you kidnapped a man.
I tell you what to help with and you help with it. You can't manipulate me.
But I did. I'm your partner.
No partners. You're a monster.
Found. All new. Tuesdays, 10, 9 Central on City TV or stream it on City TV Plus.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Karim Grant. I'm the host of The Players Corner. Season 2 is coming right at you. Make sure you stay tuned. We have a lot of exciting guests right here on Rogers Durham TV. Make sure you're there.
Hi, I'm Jackie Hermans, the host of Uxbridge Scugog Live, where we talk about everything going on in your community, from events to programs, new products, new businesses. If something is going down in the community, we're going to let you know about it, only on Rogers TV.
You're watching Rogers TV.
And welcome back. Deb Hutchison here along with Kawartha Lakes Mayor Doug Elmslie. When we went to break, we were talking about the paramedics programs, the offload delays affecting paramedic service at the hospital up drastically. I'm really glad to hear that the at-home paramedic program isn't affected by those delays because of what an awesome program it was. What do you think is behind that drastic increase in the offload delays at the hospital and the number of calls that are up?
I think it's just sheer volumes of people in emergency wards, and it seems like with an aging population, of course, you're going to get more and more people requiring medical care. And the only thing I can think of is that the emergency wards are very busy. And as a result of that, when the ambulances arrive, people were not available to see those patients immediately unless it was, a very serious case.
Okay. Let's move on to short-term rentals. We've spoken about this before. There have been challenges. Yep. Maybe quickly recap what those challenges were, how this past summer went in your eyes, and the next steps in a licensing rollout that you have planned for short-term rentals.
Yeah. Well, short-term rentals became a problem. I think it's a problem throughout Ontario. It's now $1 billion business. And the short-term rental itself is not the problem. The problem comes in with the so-called party houses, where a rental property is let out and 25 or 30 people show up in a 3-bedroom cottage, and they overwhelm the septic system, and they're rowdy and light fires and do all kinds of things that impact on the neighbors. And we had seen this for a number of years, and we had started down the road of doing some things in order to try and rein it in. And the things we had done were really Band-Aid solutions. So we felt we needed to do something more comprehensive. Council and staff came together and came forward with a short-term rental policy that includes licensing. And with the licensing goes a demerit system whereby the owners of the property can be fined. They can also have their license revoked so that that address could not be used as a short-term rental. We did what we call a soft rollout this summer, where rather than punish people, we tried to educate as to what the policy was and how they had to adhere to it. We're now at the stage where we're rolling out the whole policy, and people must start getting licenses, and they must start being inspected. And there is a complaint system that is going to be 24 hours a day that's coming into place at the end of September. So we're serious about this, and we're moving forward. We had more complaints this summer than we've ever had, but I think
Really?
that's as a result of more information being out there, more advertising about the process. So I think that having more complaints is a good thing in this case, because people are knowing about what's coming, and they're knowing what they can do in order to protect themselves and help themselves. And so they're putting their complaints in. And we'll move forward with this and look forward to next year when we have these places licensed and more bylaw officers to support the program, and a way for people to get in touch with the powers that be that can go out and make changes to what's happening on a property. And we'll continue to monitor to see how effective this is going to be.
Okay. I also want to ask you about some of your waste diversion programs, which I think are really creative. And one big one is your mattress recycling program at the Lindsay landfill. Tell me a bit about that.
Well, we started it I think it's about 3 years ago now, maybe 4 years ago. And what we do is people tag their mattresses, and rather than them going into the garbage truck that comes around, we go and pick them up and we store them and we send them back to the mattress manufacturers, who strip them, take the coils out and whatever other usable parts there are, and they stay out of the landfill. I believe last year the numbers are we took out something like 2,000 mattresses that didn't go to the landfill, and that probably represents 200 tractor trailer loads of mattresses. So it's a significant amount and a significant reduction to our landfill program, and allows us to keep our landfills open for a longer period of time. So we have we have other things, diversions as well, construction materials. We also do yard and waste pickup and turn it into compost, which individual property owners can go back and pick up the compost and use it in their gardens the following year. So we have a number of programs on the go for our landfill in order to try and mitigate against filling them up too quickly. And with the amount of building we have going on and the number of folks we feel are coming, we need to make sure that we extend the life of those landfills.
That is awesome. Also, I read a bulky plastic recycling as well, like even for your, when your garbage pails get cracked and broken, for that sort of thing. It's brilliant.
Yes. That is another good example of what we're doing, trying to be not only save ourselves our landfill, but also to be more environmentally attuned to what's going on.
Okay, and I know you wanted to talk about changes at Metroland, local journalism, and the physical paper news now that it's closing. Metroland moving to online news gathering. You say that's a very big loss for your community, particularly. Why is that?
It is because we have a number of seniors in our community, and a lot of people count on the paper for the news of what's going on in the community, obituaries, things like that. And also they like to hold the paper in their hands. They're not online people.
It's what they're used to, right?
Yes, it is a loss to these people, and we're going to have to figure out how we get our information out there. I mean, it's fine if you're a computer person and you can go to our jump in page, or you can go online and look up when the next council meeting is or when the garbage pickup is. But a lot of folks relied on these papers. Our surveys show that 70% of the people in the city of Kawartha Lakes relied on print media for their information. So it is going to be a big loss. It's also a big loss to merchants and particularly grocery stores, because they're not going to carry the flyers aren't going to be delivered in the paper anymore. So people are actually going to have to pick them up at the grocery store, or I don't know what those businesses are going to do in order to get their sales flyers in people's hands. So it impacts on a number of levels, and I'm very sorry to see them go. It was a good service. Although it was only a weekly newspaper, a lot of people depended on it.
Okay. Well, Rogers TV is here to help fill the void wherever we can. I'll tell you that much. We have one more minute left.
Okay.
Looking forward to the next year ahead, what would you say is your number one priority?
Our number one priority will be roads, roads, roads. Again, our budget's coming up. We'll start deliberating in October and have our budget passed before Christmas for the 2024 year. That'll be important. We also have our housing initiatives that are ongoing. And as we spoke about before, affordable housing and how we're going to deal with that situation.
Okay. Mayor Doug Elmslie, we have run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's meet more often, shall we?
I'd be delighted.
Okay.
It's always nice to see you.
Great to speak with you and see you too. Our guest this week has been Kawartha Lakes Mayor Doug Elmslie. On behalf of all of us here at Rogers TV, thanks for joining us. Until next time, I'm Debra Hutchison. Bye for now.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
You know the story. When the RCAF said Mach 2 fighter, 2-place 1,000-mile range, the British said it was impossible. The Yanks tried twice and failed. They said, you're dreaming. We said, fine, we'll build it right here in Toronto. And now you guys, my guys, are saying that it can't be done, that they were right?
Now that's the rocket that we used to get the model up to speed, and then the onboard sensors tells me.
Come on, baby.
Damn it! But we did it according to your specs. The specs have changed.
We did it.
Arrow 201. You cleared for takeoff.
Although the government cancelled the project and destroyed the prototypes, the Avro Arrow remains for Canada a world benchmark in aerospace achievement.
I'm Wendell Clark with a word about winning. We all know it takes a team effort in any sport and with any challenge. You can be a part of the winning team that shuts out impaired driving. Whether you're out on the town or just hanging out with friends, drink responsibly. Always have a plan for a safe ride home for yourself, your family,